Listen up, because what I'm about to share with you will completely change how you view XRP and the entire crypto landscape. In the next 24 hours, Jerome Powell is going to make an announcement that will send shockwaves through the financial world, and if you're not positioned correctly, you're going to miss the biggest wealth transfer opportunity of our lifetime. I've been deep in the trenches, analyzing Federal Reserve documents, OCC mandates, and internal banking communications that most people will never see. What I've discovered is absolutely mind-blowing. The Federal Reserve isn't just considering XRP, they're actively positioning it to become the hidden backbone of the entire global financial system. But here's the thing that's keeping me up at night. While everyone is distracted by Bitcoin ETFs and meme coins pumping, the real revolution is happening behind closed doors. The powers that be are literally handing XRP the golden ticket to control trillions of dollars in global liquidity, and most people have no idea what's coming. Let me paint you a picture of what's really happening. Right now, as I speak, there are $27 trillion trapped in Nostro and Vostro accounts worldwide. These are the banking accounts that make international payments possible, but they're slow, expensive, and incredibly inefficient. Money sits locked up for days, sometimes weeks, earning nothing while banks charge massive fees. The United States alone holds $5 trillion in these accounts. $5 trillion just sitting there, doing absolutely nothing. But what if I told you there's a technology that could unlock 30% of that trapped liquidity instantly? We're talking about $1.5 trillion that could be freed up with a single technological implementation. That technology is XRP, and the Federal Reserve knows it. I've obtained documents from the SEC website that outline a comprehensive proposal to make XRP the strategic financial asset for the United States. This isn't some random speculation. This is documented evidence of a plan that could unlock trillions of dollars through XRP implementation. The numbers are staggering. We're looking at $7.5 billion in annual transaction cost savings alone. But here's where it gets really interesting. Jerome Powell recently made a statement that should have every XRP holder paying attention. He said, and I quote, "Banks get to decide who their customers are. That's not our decision. Banks are free to provide banking services to the crypto industry, to crypto companies, and banks are also free to conduct crypto activities as long as they do so in a compliant manner." Did you catch that? He's essentially giving banks the green light to embrace crypto. But look at his body language when he said it. The man looked like he was being forced into submission. The game is already over, folks. The decision has been made at levels far above what most people can comprehend. Now, let me tell you about something that happened in July of this year that nobody is talking about. The Federal Reserve made a quiet transition, adopting the ISO 2022 messaging format and getting rid of their old Fedwire application interface format. Sounds boring, right? Wrong. This is the most significant development in financial infrastructure in decades. Here's the kicker. In May of 2020, Ripple became the first distributed ledger technology organization to join the ISO 2022 Registration Management Group. They didn't just join. They became a key governing body maintaining the development of the standard. Ripple is literally influencing the entire standard that the Federal Reserve just adopted. Think about that for a moment. Ripple has been positioning themselves for this exact moment for over 4 years. They saw this coming and made sure they had a seat at the table when the music stopped. This isn't coincidence. This is strategic brilliance executed at the highest level. But wait, there's more. A Federal Reserve economist named David Andolfatto, who served as senior vice president in the research division, recently made a statement that should have every XRP holder celebrating. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the Fed could delegate the clearing of payments to a third party, specifically mentioning some sort of Ripple-like protocol. A Federal Reserve economist just publicly endorsed Ripple's technology as a potential solution for payment clearing. This is the same guy who was the senior policy advisor for the CEO and president of the Federal Reserve Bank. You think he just threw Ripple's name out there randomly? Absolutely not. Now, here's where things get really controversial, and this is going to blow your mind. I believe Ripple has been working as an agent of the government this entire time. Think about it. Why would a private company hold 60 billion XRP in escrow? Why would they lock up the majority of the token supply and only release a small amount each month? On their own website, Ripple refers to themselves as a steward of XRP supply. The definition of steward is to manage or look after another's property. Everyone knows Ripple didn't create XRP. They were given XRP. But the real question is, given by who? I believe XRP was always intended to be the secret plumbing of the financial system, just like Arthur Britto said back in 2013. He predicted that the majority of people who use the Ripple payment network would be able to ignore XRP because payments could be bridged through other currencies. But when payments do bridge through XRP, it happens automatically and instantly. This is genius-level strategic planning. Instead of forcing banks to adopt a cryptocurrency they don't understand or trust, you give them a proof of concept that integrates seamlessly with their existing infrastructure. Once they see the efficiency gains and cost savings, the XRP integration becomes inevitable. And speaking of inevitability, let me tell you about the timeline that's unfolding right before our eyes. We're looking at a standard 24-month implementation plan. But here's where it gets interesting. With the right political will, this could be accelerated to just 6 to 12 months. Phase 1 is regulatory clearance, which is already happening. The SEC lawsuit is settled. The Department of Justice has shifted away from broad cryptocurrency enforcement, and banks are getting the green light to custody XRP. We saw this when the Office of the Comptroller of Currency allowed banks to custody XRP back in 2020. Phase 2 is government payment pilots. We're talking about IRS tax refunds, Social Security integration, government contractor payments, all running on XRP infrastructure. This phase alone could take 6 to 12 months, but with presidential executive orders, it could happen in 2 to 4 months. Phase 3 is full-scale financial integration through Federal Reserve and OCC mandates. This is where XRP replaces those Nostro and Vostro accounts I mentioned earlier, unlocking that $1.5 trillion in trapped liquidity. Now, here's what really gets me excited. Donald Trump recently posted about a US crypto reserve, and guess which cryptocurrency he listed first? XRP. Not Bitcoin, not Ethereum. XRP. Then he mentioned Solana and Cardano. Why would the President of the United States list XRP first if it wasn't already part of a larger strategic plan? This isn't random. This is coordinated at the highest levels of government and financial power. We're witnessing the implementation of a plan that's been in motion for years, and most people are completely oblivious to what's happening. But here's what really keeps me up at night. While all this is happening, XRP has been trading sideways for 8 months. 8 months of absolute boredom, while the most significant financial infrastructure changes in history are happening behind the scenes. This is your opportunity, right here, right now, before the masses catch on to what's really happening. Let me put this in perspective for you. The DTCC, which processes nearly $4 quadrillion in securities annually, has filed patents for managing digital liquidity tokens that specifically mention XRP. $4 quadrillion. If XRP captures even 1% of that market, we're looking at prices that would make early Bitcoin investors look like they made pocket change. Some analysts are projecting XRP prices of $40,000 to $67,000 per token if it truly becomes the backbone of the global financial system. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen overnight, and I'm not giving you financial advice, but let me ask you this. What did Google's stock look like in 2004? Google was trading at $3 per share in 2004. Today, it's trading at over $250. That's a 5,900% increase over 20 years. But here's the difference. Google is a stock in a traditional market. XRP is a cryptocurrency in a market that moves 10 times faster and more violently than traditional markets. If XRP follows even a fraction of Google's trajectory, we're looking at generational wealth creation for anyone positioned correctly right now. But here's the catch. You have to have the vision to see what's coming and the patience to let it unfold. Most people are looking at XRP's daily price movements and getting frustrated. They want instant gratification, instant results, instant wealth. But the biggest wealth transfers in history don't happen overnight. They happen slowly, then all at once. And that all at once moment is rapidly approaching for XRP. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. Banks are being mandated to improve their payment infrastructure. The ISO 2022 standard is being implemented globally. Cross-border payments are being revolutionized, and XRP is positioned at the center of all of it. Christine Lagarde from the IMF has been in meetings with Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. SWIFT executives are collaborating with Ripple on payment solutions. Former Federal Reserve officials are joining crypto companies. This isn't coincidence. This is coordination at the highest levels of global finance. Brian Brooks, former acting comptroller of the currency under the Trump administration, recently joined MicroStrategy's board of directors. As comptroller, he oversaw the Federal Reserve banking system. He's been predicting the XRP settlement and comparing XRP's current volatility to Google's early days. This guy literally oversaw the banking system that XRP is about to integrate with, and he's telling you that XRP's volatility reminds him of Google in its early days. Connect the dots, people. But here's what's really controversial, and this is where I'm going to lose some people. I believe the entire cryptocurrency market has been orchestrated from the beginning. Bitcoin was the cookie for the world. Get everyone excited about decentralized money and blockchain technology. But the real plan was always to introduce a controlled, regulated, government-friendly digital asset that could actually be integrated into the existing financial system. That asset is XRP. Think about it logically. You can't replace a multi-trillion-dollar global financial system overnight with a completely decentralized, uncontrolled cryptocurrency. The powers that be would never allow it. But you can introduce a digital asset that gives them more control, more efficiency, and more profit, while maintaining the existing power structure. XRP gives central banks and governments more control over money flows, not less. It allows for instant settlement, complete transaction transparency, and programmable money that can be controlled at the protocol level. This isn't about destroying the existing system, it's about upgrading it. And that upgrade is happening right now, whether you're paying attention or not. The Federal Reserve is cutting interest rates, which is going to create massive volatility in all markets. But here's what most people don't understand. This volatility is going to accelerate the adoption of more efficient payment systems. When traditional financial infrastructure starts breaking down under pressure, the need for alternatives becomes urgent. XRP isn't just an alternative. It's the solution that's already been pre-approved, pre-integrated, and pre-positioned for mass adoption. But here's the thing that frustrates me the most. While all this is happening, people are still leaving their XRP sitting on exchanges like Coinbase, earning zero yield, taking massive counterparty risk, and completely missing the opportunity to generate passive income while they wait for mass adoption. Coinbase has been hacked multiple times. They've had customer data stolen, funds lost, and they've proven that centralized exchanges are not safe places to store your wealth long term. Yet people continue to use them because it's convenient. Convenience is the enemy of wealth creation. If you truly believe XRP is going to be the backbone of the global financial system, then you should be treating it like the valuable asset it's about to become. You wouldn't buy real estate and then let it sit vacant, earning no rental income. You wouldn't buy a business and then not operate it. So why would you buy XRP and then let it sit on an exchange doing nothing? There are ways to earn yield on your XRP while maintaining full control of your private keys. There are strategies to generate passive income while you wait for mass adoption. There are methods to compound your holdings so that when XRP does reach those projected price targets, you have more tokens to benefit from the price appreciation. But most people won't do the work. They want to buy and hold and hope and pray that everything works out in their favor. That's not a strategy, that's gambling. Here's what I know for certain. The Federal Reserve and OCC are positioning XRP for mass adoption. The regulatory clarity is coming. The technological integration is already happening. The political will is there. The economic incentives are aligned. And the timeline is accelerating. What I don't know is how long it's going to take for the market to fully recognize what's happening. It could be 6 months, it could be 2 years, it could be 5 years. But when it happens, it's going to happen fast, and most people are going to be caught off guard. The question you need to ask yourself is this: are you going to be positioned for what's coming? Or are you going to be one of those people who looks back in 5 years and says, I should have seen this coming? Because all the signs are there. All the information is available. All the pieces are falling into place. The only question is whether you have the vision to see it and the conviction to act on it. The Federal Reserve is about to give XRP the golden ticket to the global financial system. The OCC is mandating the infrastructure changes that will make XRP adoption inevitable. The political environment has never been more favorable for cryptocurrency integration. This is your moment. This is your opportunity. This is potentially the biggest wealth transfer in human history, and it's happening right now in real time, while most people are distracted by daily price movements and social media noise. But here's my warning. Once this train leaves the station, it's not coming back. Once XRP is fully integrated into the global financial system, the opportunity to accumulate at these prices will be gone forever. The Fed has spoken. The OCC has acted. The wheels are already in motion. The question is, are you ready for what comes next? Because ready or not, the XRP revolution is here, and it's about to change everything you thought you knew about money, banking, and wealth creation. The golden ticket has been issued, and it's sitting right in front of you. The only question remaining is whether you're going to reach out and grab it.